Ladies and gentlemen, I am Studio Breeze, and I'm here with my brother,
Keys fucking Mills. What it do, y'all?
We are here to discuss our favorite thing in the world, Dragon Ball, and its return. We have multiple videos, but today we're going to be talking about Dragon Ball Project Age 1000, or Project 1000, whichever one you want to call it. So, essentially, this is pretty much what we are hoping to be Xenoverse 3. All Dragon Ball games come out, project this, project that. We have Project Multi that ended up being Gekishin Squadra. You know, we've had Project Breakers, I think that's what, Dragon Ball The Breakers was called. And so, this is essentially probably the placeholder title for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3. And from the trailer, we haven't seen, it wasn't a whole lot that they gave us. But there is a lot of things that we can surmise about the possible plot and possible relevance as far as a lot of different things, especially the timeline. As you could already see, we went down a little bit of what happens in the ages from 784 to 1000. But right now we're talking about, now that we're in in Age 1000, we are going to see all new types of characters. Goku, Vegeta, all of them long gone. So it's really gonna focus, I feel like, more on our characters and us influencing the story in a more I feel like, online capacity with other characters and things like that. So that co-op story mode we've been asking for, it might just be happening. Keith, what are you thinking so far when it comes to Dragon Ball Age or Project 1000 and what we could possibly be seeing for?
I gotta say, when homie first popped up, crispy as hell, and it's really nice knowing that even though my man has been gone for some time now, he is still serving us from the grave, and that we're going to be experiencing a lot of new characters designed by Akira Toriyama himself. And like I said, the homie looks crispy, and I must say, it's a bit odd that it's like Project 1000, and because they know we want Xenoverse 3, and part of me is like, why wouldn't they just kind of say it? And at the same time, it's like there's not really much to signify that it's like a continuation of where Xenoverse 2 may end, and the fact that it's more than likely taking place in the future, and we're experiencing a whole new, let's be honest, somewhat universe for Dragon Ball for the first time, and and however long it's been, it's going to be amazing. And I feel like it really could be something with something to do with online, or could it be a story thing? But I do believe that is a like placeholder for the character creator. And I must say, he's the best looking one, from Xenoverse 1 and 2 and shit like that. So I'm very excited to see where this goes, and the fact that they spent, I almost did it, 7 years creating this damn game, and they said Akira Toriyama was working very closely with it the whole time up until his death. Is very, very exciting, because that magic sweet sauce is going to be really there. And besides, as we'll talk about in the future, the more are coming out, this would be some real new Dragon Ball since Super first came with the Battle of Gods movie. So very, very excited for some new type of Dragon Ball.
I'm glad you mentioned the fact that the development time apparently it's been cooking in the oven for about 7 years, probably a little bit over 7 years at this point now. And this is probably, I'm hoping this is like the end game of Dragon Ball type of things, as far as like, this is the last thing that Akira Toriyama touched, just like Endgame was like the last thing that one of the last few big things that Stan Lee was involved in heavily, as far as his little cameos and stuff like that. I'm just hoping that sauce, that Akira Toriyama sauce, is still there, and it's celebrated in a big way. And also wanted to bring up, with this trademark that was out in the wild, Dragon Ball World Fighters. So apparently that possibly might be the actual name for the project, and it definitely signifies a heavy inspiration on online focus. Like Xenoverse, I feel like that was a focus on timelines and different universe type scenarios and things like that. Whereas I think this is going to focus more on the future of the world of Dragon Ball. As we can see, the first person we see is a half Saiyan, you know, or some type of Saiyan descendant, because he can go Super Saiyan, as you saw in the trailer. And he's also training inside of it seems like a gravity type room, type of, like, you know, artificial training, something like we would have in the future, where you could, you know, fight different clones of different bad guys and things like that. I will say that I'm definitely excited to see more of that aspect and more of that timeline being explored, rather than going through and rehashing the old stories and whatnot. I feel like that is something we definitely need: more original, more, you know, fresh Dragon Ball content, rather than just rehashing, remixing old things and such like that from between the shows, from like Dragon Ball Daima, the entire concept kind of being rehashed from GT, and, you know, and stuff like that. So I'm definitely excited to see anything new Dragon Ball wise, especially with the games. I am, however, worried though it might be on some like My Hero Strongest Hero type thing, like a mobile PC hybrid type of game, where it's more just a bunch of, you know, buttons on the screen and then different dailies and stuff like that. Like
gotchas.
Really, yeah, like a gacha, a Dragon Ball gacha, because we actually haven't gotten that. Like I'm not looking forward to, you know, Dragon Ball Genshin Impact type of game. You know, I am not looking forward to having to roll and all that stuff. So if that's what Dragon Ball is trying to get their hat in the ring, I think that's a horrible, you know, direction. Only if they have the gacha be specific for characters, which I feel like they already kind of got a gacha-esque system with Dragon Ball Geki Shin Squadra, and I feel like that's like the extent, like that's the most we need to do, because it's mostly geared towards just new characters, and after a while you can level up and just, you know, earn characters and things like that. So I'm hoping it's something where if they're gonna go that route, then make it like cosmetic or something like that. Give us a whole bunch of new outfits and things like that we could possibly roll for, if that's what you want to go in that route. I'd much rather the console Xenoverse 3 MMO hybrid type of deal, but, you know, we just don't know exactly. There's not a whole lot of information to go off of, but that's where I'm going with it. It could either be that Xenoverse 3 with a lot more online components that we want, or it could end up being some type of Dragon Ball Genshin Impact type of hybrid, which, I mean, hey, that's what they want, but I mean, I don't know how that would actually survive in this economy where we're getting a whole lot of these Genshin Impact clones left and right, you know.
Yeah, I agree with you heavily on that, and I will say there was that one part in the trailer where it was kind of like showing, you know, the old past villains, and then Goku kind of silhouette pops up on the end of the screen. I'm kind of, I don't know, it's me kind of, you know, going on the limb and shit, but I'm kind of getting like the vibe that you may be able to, you know, experience that as a character, and possibly what you may do in the past may change stuff in the future and things like that. I'm not going to say that it's going to be like an exclusive, like single player, like Xenoverse 3 type thing, or it's going to go full MMO. But I'm getting the vibe that it's taking that Xenoverse DNA, but kind of making something brand new. So, you know, they didn't want to just say it's Xenoverse 3, because it may not just be Xenoverse 3. It may be like its own little, like, you know, I don't know, Xeno Saga type of thing. So where it goes from here, Battle Hour, we get more information. That's where we get the official title. And we can do nothing but speculate now, but I'm getting the sense that it's a new world, and they're definitely gonna do something new while still retaining that old familiar feel.
And speaking of Dragon Ball Battle Hour, you best believe the Struggle Bro is going to be talking about, speculating, and everything that's going to happen before April Dragon Ball Battle Hour, and when it actually drops, the 18th and 19th for Battle Hour. We're going to talk about everything Dragon Ball, Xenoverse, the new anime, whatever it is that they got coming out. The Struggle Bros are talking Dragon Ball. But, you know, those are our opinions on the new Dragon Ball Project Age 1000 coming. Let us know what you guys think. If you're hype, put it in the comments below what you think the game could possibly be about, mechanics, anything like that. Keith, anything else to say before you take us out?
No, that's it, bro. I'm Keys,
And I'm Breeze.
and the struggle war continues.
Be breezy.